Hello friends, welcome back. Today I have another Friday favourites for you. It's mostly skincare based, but there are a couple of other things thrown in there as well. Because we're talking about skincare, I thought I would come at you fresh-faced, as often I do, just through laziness, honestly. I wanted to kick off with these. I know I must have mentioned these before. I did a sponsored video on Instagram for Home Bargains, which is where you can get these from. And basically the whole sponsorship was just, these things are available, very, very low cost for some of these serums that elsewhere would be more expensive. And they're really, really effective. Anyway, I'm kind of I'm more than halfway through on both of them. I tried another one as well, which is a collagen, but I prefer these. It's the Creightons Salicylic acid. So they just come in these like little pipette, dropper bottles. And then this one is the Balance Active Formula Hyaluronic Intense Hydration. So just a hyaluronic acid. Honestly, if you put these in bottles and said that they were from, I don't want to say Kiehl's, because they don't feel luxurious. They don't feel, you pay a certain amount of money and it's not necessarily that the product is going to be more effective, but the whole experience of using the product feels more luxurious. And I think especially with something like Kiehl's, a lot of the products feel very velvety and you're paying for the experience. Sometimes you can get a very, very similar effect from a product at a much lower price point, but the overall experience using it is a lot cheaper. Do you know what I mean? So that I would say is probably what is going on here. It's a plastic bottle, but the product inside is amazing. So this is 2% salicylic acid. For me, salicylic acid is absolutely what my skin wants when I'm breaking out. So at the moment I've got a couple of threats of breakouts on my chin, and this stuff seems to manage to diminish what actually pops out, but also kind of keep them at bay. And especially because it's kind of hormonal in that area, but also based on hair removal. That's why I get a lot of my breakouts on my chin. I won't use something straight away. I'll use a spray, like an antiseptic spray, just to keep the area totally clean. A couple of hours later when I come to do my skincare, I'll use that, and that just keep them away. Or when occasionally they do kind of creep out, it really just helps to diminish. So I think these are really fantastic. And like I say, you can get them from Home Bargains. I was once paid to talk about them. I have never been paid to talk about them again. And there is no stipulation that I ever had to mention them ever again for the rest of my life. I just truly think you should try these because they are such a low price point and I think they're really good. And the hyaluronic acid serum, similar situation, but this is something that I use. I mean, if we were talking like multi-masking, I would use this elsewhere on my face. And I know I touch the pipette to my face. However, my face is always clean when I do that. So I just, it's not like I'm sharing. Oh, do you know what? Now I've said that, now I'm doing this, I can feel some other weird breakouts in strange areas. I did a clearing, what are they called? Oh man, it's just escaping me. Like a clay mask that's supposed to draw out impurities. I did one of those yesterday and I can feel something here and weirdly on my forehead. Really weird places to get breakouts. I'm just going to pop a bit of salicylic on those areas. So in the daytime, this is something that I could use underneath my moisturiser, makeup, SPF, whatever it is I'm doing. At nighttime, I would do my Skin and Me. My Skin and Me is mostly for the tretinoin. So if you're not familiar, it's basically a serum that you use every single night. It's more like a treatment. It's not really a serum because it's more of a creamy consistency. It gives you the exact right amount of product every single day and it comes to you as a subscription once a month. Absolutely fantastic if you've got a specific issue. So for me, I have a lot of pigmentation on uneven skin, and so tretinoin, it's supposed to be anti-aging, but mostly what I'm using it for is try and even my skin out and fade my pigmentation. It always comes out worse in the summertime, so I know that currently it's kind of at its peak, and come kind of September, October, towards the end of the year, it will calm down again. But even at its worst, I absolutely truly believe that the Skin and Me formula I'm using every single day is keeping it less. And because I've seen such fantastic results from other people where they've shown kind of like 5, 10, 15 years later of using tretinoin every single day and how it's affected their skin, I feel like it's a long game thing. And I'm in it now. I'm going to use it forever. So I use that. That's like the first product that I use. But because it can be quite harsh, I don't use it everywhere. I just kind of use it forehead and this area. So a little bit like retinols, I avoid any kind of creasing, anything around my nose. My chin will get very dry very quickly here, and nothing under my eyes because it can get very red and flaky. So for just the tretinoin, I do kind of like the outer part of my face and the face that is most affected by the melasma pigmentation that I suffer with. Put that there, wait for that to kind of soak in, absorb, do its thing, and then I'll put on a hyaluronic acid everywhere because I really feel like I need a bit of a moisture boost after using that product. And this has been the one that I've been using for a few months, and I can't tell you that it's any worse than any other that I've ever had at any other price point. I really like the L'Oreal one, and I've been thinking recently about buying the L'Oreal Caffeine Eye Serum again because I'm almost out of that. But I don't think I'm going to buy the hyaluronic acid serum from L'Oreal because I think I really, really like this one just as much. I was going to say better, but not better, but just as much, and it's much cheaper. An oil that I've been using, because again, with the stuff that I'm using, I can get a little bit of dryness and flakiness, is hilarious because I've been oily my entire life, oily combination, and now that combination is kind of erring on the side of dry, which is crazy, but that's your skin as you get older. So I've been quite enjoying an oil rather than, and this is going to be controversial, rather than a moisturiser. I won't always do both. In the winter time, I might do an oil and then put a moisturiser on top, but recently I've just been doing an oil, and that has been the Aroma Active Overnight Recovery Face Oil. This is a cute little bottle. You really don't need very much of this at all, otherwise it would be absolutely everywhere. And if I can do my skincare a little while before I go to bed to allow all this stuff to absorb rather than just be absorbed by my pillow, all the better. But this is kind of it's kind of almost like a dry oil in consistency. It's not, it does absorb quite nicely. It says it restores tired and stressed out skin. Valerian plankton extract, 1%, whatever that means. I'm not even going to pretend that I know. But it is very heavily scented. So if you're not into that, you will hate this. It actually says to warm a few drops between your palms and inhale deeply. Press into clean, dry skin before sleep as your last step in your routine. That, to me, is insane. Press into clean, dry skin as the last step in your routine kind of is a bit of an oxymoron for me, but whatever. I tend to just kind of like drop it onto my face and just kind of pat it in everywhere because I've, by that point, put so much on my face. If I rubbed it in, it would be a pilling up nightmare. So I just kind of pat it. In fact, I'll do it now just to show you what I mean. Because otherwise it's just going to be, you know, all those like roly bits. Especially because the skin in me is more of a creamy formula, and then I've put a serum on top of that. I just kind of move it around my face and get it, especially in the areas that I feel get a little bit flaky and dry. I hate to tell you this is what I do because it feels very influencery, but it's really a needs must situation because I don't want to shift the product underneath. Another wonderful hydrator I've been enjoying recently, and if I was to use a moisturiser, I mean if I'm going to go crazy, then we layer all the products because why not? But it's so refreshing. I'm not keen on this scent. I can't put my finger on it, but it's kind of like a musty, a sweet, or maybe it's supposed to be vanilla or like caramel. It's sweet, but like musty sweet. You know, like the smell of water. Like if you put water in one of these and you left it for like a month and then you sprayed it, it has a certain old water smell. I don't love the smell of this. However, I do really like how it feels on my skin. I love the mist. That is one of the best mist actions I've ever seen in my life. Fantastic. Also, you can open this. So once I'm finished with it, I'm 100% going to be using this bottle again because this is just a little bit special. This is what I'm talking about. The experience of the product is so much of what we actually enjoy about the product, isn't it? Like, if this was in another bottle, the fact that I don't like the smell and maybe the mist wouldn't be that great, maybe I'd be like, nah, this is not that great. But because the mist is so fantastic, it's good stuff. I keep this on my desk. I can kind of refresh, especially with it being so hot. But in between a skincare, I would do like serums, spritz, and then I would do an oil or a moisturiser. And in the daytime, definitely like a lightweight moisturiser, or I'd put on my SPF and I feel kind of fresher, cool, It's a really nice product. But again, I don't know how much of that is really just the mist that I love. It's from a brand called Skin Proud, and it's called the Refresher Hydrating Face Mist. I would love to know, because I feel like this is one of those things that's going to really divide people. Have you smelled this? Do you like it? Speaking of mists, I've been using this one from Primark for a little while. This is just a refillable bottle. It's got glycolic acid in it. This is the Pixie Glow Tonic. They're all much of a muchness. I use this on my body. So spritz, spritz, spritz. It's like a continuous mist. It's a pretty great mist. And it means that I can get to my back, because I do tend to get blemishes and things from time to time, and I don't like the rough skin feeling. Every time I talk about this, I tell you, but I'll tell you again for the people who haven't heard me say it before. I used to have really serious acne on my arms, my back and my chest, not really on my face, but just kind of my body, all down my back. And I still have a bit of a word, what's the word when you kind of like insecure about something, I suppose. I have a bit of a thing about it now, and I'm always looking for something to make my body skin as smooth as possible. And so glycolic acid in a spray bottle, it's everything. If I can take the time to do these things well before I'm going to bed, I can go into the bedroom, spritz myself everywhere, just kind of like, imagine you've just spray tanned, wait for everything to dry, then I do my normal moisturiser, wait for that to absorb, and then I go to bed. It's not my nightly routine, but you know, in an ideal world, that's what I would do every night, and my skin would be perfect. Speaking of perfect skin, it's a perfect segue. I have rediscovered a love of coconut oil recently. I used to use it for everything. I have been using it in my hair. I've been using it on my feet. One of my favourite benefits of working from home is that at least once a week, I give myself a foot bath, and then I leave my feet in it for ages and ages. Come lunchtime, I'll buff my feet, sometimes give myself pedicure, and then I'll put loads and loads of moisturiser on my feet, and then for the whole afternoon I've got my feet up on a stool and they're just kind of being pampered and moisturised while I'm working. Face masks, hair masks, foot situations. My skin's never been better. It's wasted time when you're in an office and you couldn't self-care. A moisturiser that, I don't even know if I could call this moisturiser, but a moisturiser that I have been using again recently that has off and on been one of my absolute staples. I remember buying this. I feel like it used to be about £8, but I might be inflating that in my mind because obviously it's all relative. As I used to say when I was called Miss Budget Beauty, budget is relative. And I remember this was like a splurge in the supermarket. And I really want to say it was like £8, but it could have been less. £8 still feels expensive, and it's definitely cheaper than that now. But whenever I saw this, I was like, oh, I want that as a treat. It is the weirdest of all of these kinds of products from Vaseline. These intensive care, they all come in the same thing, in the same kind of bottle. I think this is the only one that's like this. It smells amazing. It's Cocoa Radiant with pure cocoa butter, and it says Vitalizing Body Gel Oil, which is the perfect explanation for what this is. If you want like a massage oil, this is Lee's least favourite, because he hates sticky hands, and this is like an oil that won't come off in his opinion. So if you've never seen this before, like, where have you even been? Because it's fantastic. It's like a heavy oil gel. It's awesome. So if you put this on like your legs after you've shaved your legs, they just retain this layer of moisture, possibly for the rest of your life. You want something for massage where it's really going to stay oily for a really long time. Which is probably why Lee hates it so much. It's going to stay oily for a really long time, and it's not going to go kind of bitty, but it's not a thin oil. This is great, and it's got that little bit of, because it is a bit thicker, you've got that kind of resistance, I suppose is the word I'm looking for. Just the absolute best oil, and it's not really an oil, it's a gel oil, and it smells incredible, incredible, like the best cocoa butter scent there has ever been. I'm very glistening right now. This is not the way I thought this was going to go, but it's a good job I wasn't wearing makeup. And the last product that I want to talk about is not really skincare. Kind of is not. It's not at all. So this keeps getting advertised to me, and so many people have sent it to me. And then it got advertised to Lee, and he bought it for me. So if you've never seen one of these before, you'd be like, what is this weird wave thing? It's for your neck, and if you've got any kind of issue like me, it's mostly posture related. It is supposed to be kind of almost like a cervical traction device for your neck. So let's pretend I'm lying on the floor. You would put this on the floor like that, and you would lie your head back, and it kind of undoes that action that we do all day long by pushing your neck and the top of your back, your shoulders, if you will, into the right position. And it also gives you a decent amount of relief because of these pressure points. And you can have it either this way or this way, depending on like how severe a slant you want. It gives you different kinds of feel both ways. And I initially was like, yeah, this is really great, and it does give me some relief, but really only while I'm using it. And it's a bit of a pain to have to lie down on the floor for a period of time. I can't really do very much else while I'm on the floor. So I used it off and on, but didn't use it very much. And then I was on the sofa the other day, and it was really bothering me, my back. And I thought, I wonder. And I just kind of put it up against the sofa. Absolute revelation. This then gives me a decent amount of relief. When I was at work in the office, I would freeze a water bottle. We used to have a freezer at work. I know, we were spoiled. I would freeze a water bottle, and I would put it like in between my shoulder blades, and that would give me some relief. Or I'd put hot water in that same water bottle, like a drinking water bottle, and put it between my shoulder blades. It was so painful, and there was very little relief I could get sitting at a desk chair all day long. This is it. This is totally it. It's not the way that it's advertised for you to use it. I don't even know if it's necessarily good for you to use it that way, but I'm telling you, this is how I've been using it recently, and it's just breathed new life into this product for me. I absolutely cannot get enough of that. If only this smelled the same as that cocoa butter, or even the lavendery thing from Aroma Active. If only it smelled of literally anything else.